Welcome back to the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. As you can see, today I have a special guest, my sister Laura from Our Oily House. A lot of you know her. If you don't, I will go ahead and introduce you to her. So she is a mom of 5. She has a blog and a YouTube channel. You can tell more about yourself and your blog and your YouTube.
Pretty much on the blog, it is a lot of different natural recipes for skincare, hair care, cleaning supplies, things like that. And then on YouTube, I share a lot of similar stuff as Lisa does, just cooking videos and I don't know, kind of like from scratch cooking that I do for my family.
Yes, so we're going to be talking about natural swaps for a safer, toxin-free home, but then we're also going to dive into a Q&A because Laura and I did a podcast episode like this probably 2 years ago-ish. It was a long time ago.
Oh. So not 2 years, because I had Benjamin.
A year and a half ago, because he was little in the wrap.
Yep.
And we just did a Q&A, and people really liked that. I actually put out a question box on my Instagram recently and asked who I should have on, and so many of you said Laura, your sister, to do a Q&A. So I had her down already on my list to talk about swaps for your home, but then I thought we'd also do a Q&A. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stay to the end. Let's first talk a little bit about swaps. My name is Lisa, mother of 7 and creator of the blog and YouTube channel Farmhouse on Boone. Join me as I share with you my love for creating a handmade home from scratch cooking and a little mom and entrepreneur life along the way. So, swaps. What's the most popular that people ask you about? Is it hair? Is it laundry? Is it cleaning?
Honestly, I think cleaning. And that's the most, to me, it's the easiest one to swap out right away and the most important one because it's stuff that you're spraying on your countertops, your kids' toys, your glass where your kids are smudging their faces up against and licking. And also when you have little kids, I feel like they like to help clean still at certain ages. And so having a toxic-free cleaner that they can just go around and spray freely everywhere allows them to help. And then, they're helping you out. And then you also don't have to be worried about what they're breathing in or getting on their skin.
Okay, so what are some of your go-to cleaning recipes, or what are your most popular from your blog?
Okay, so I have a bunch of cleaners on my blog, but to be honest, the one that I use hands down most often is just my all-purpose spray, and it's the most popular one too, on the blog. And it's just a combination of water, vinegar, and lemon essential oil.
Okay.
Super easy. It's basic. It works good for mirrors, cleaning glass. It doesn't streak. It works good for cleaning your countertops, even when you're baking or using raw chicken in the kitchen and
disinfecting.
Yep. It just kind of covers all the bases. That's the one that I use. You probably use that, right? Or make your own.
I use lemon essential oil straight, and anytime I have a really tough situation. So whenever there's something a marker or there's a stain on my stove, just putting a couple of drops and letting it sit, it really cuts it and wipes it away. Yeah. So I do that probably most often. Usually for normal stuff, I'm just using a cloth and hot water for every day. But if you're really trying to disinfect and get in there,
the vinegar and lemon.
Now, what about ratios? I know people are going to ask, they want an actual.
Okay, so I do half and half water, vinegar. So I have a 16-ounce glass spray bottle that I use for my cleaning, and I've used the same ones. I just reuse it, refill it up. I've had it for, probably over 5 years, a long time. So it's half and half. I just kind of guess about 8 ounces of each, and then about 15 drops of lemon essential oil.
Okay, perfect.
Super simple.
Yeah. So does that work well for glass streaks as well?
Yes, it really does. That's what I use for all. And I use a microfiber cloth to wipe it off.
Yeah.
It does. It works really well. When I was doing my first swapping, the hardest one for me was getting rid of Windex because I hate streaks and smudges on mirrors and on the glass door.
Works great.
And it works great, so I was really worried about that. But I've had so many of my followers on my blog and stuff I can't believe how well it works, because it does. It doesn't leave any streaks.
Yeah. So what about toilet bowl cleaner? Do you do a
Yes, I do. I have a recipe on my blog for I call it a hands-off cleaner. It's kind of essentially like a bath bomb kind of that you can just put in and it fizzes and it cleans it. But then I also have a toilet bowl cleaner too that you can scrub with baking soda. It works really well. A lot of baking soda, vinegar, and lemon.
Pretty much covers
and Castile soap too.
Yeah.
I use that for dish soap.
So between those 4 ingredients, you can clean your entire house.
Pretty
basically.
much.
You're pretty much simplifying it down. So those specific recipes are on ouroilyhouse.com if you want to like print them out, pin them for later. Let's talk about hair and like conditioner, shampoo, conditioner, body stuff.
Yeah. So again, it's way easier than what people think. I know whenever you start talking about this, people get very overwhelmed and think like, oh my gosh, I have to like throw everything out and start over and how do you do this? And the thing is, just like you were kind of mentioning with the cleaners, if you have just like a small like handful of ingredients, you can pretty much make everything. So I do make shampoo and conditioner. I have recipes for that on my blog as well. Shampoo bars, conditioner bars if you want to be more sustainable. But again, it's very simple recipes. Like Lisa said, I'm a mom of 5, almost 6. I don't have time to spend like everyone's like, how do you do it all? I'm like, it's not actually as hard. Like I can be in the middle of doing dishes and whip up the dish soap while I'm in the middle of doing dishes.
Right.
And then
you're not like doing this massive day, except for maybe soap making, which we'll talk about. But like you're not doing like something where you're spending a day making like all of my hair care, all of my dish soap, all of my cleaning supplies.
Yeah, as it runs out.
Like measuring and working on formulas. Like you probably also have like a routine to where you're not measuring out like a cup of this, a tablespoon of that. Like you're just kind of using these same basic,
Yep. My husband, I make like all of his like beard oil and beard balm and whatever. And he'll have him like, oh, it's empty. And I can just fill it up now.
Yeah.
I don't have
now
to
that you're familiar with the
I don't have
recipes.
to even look at a recipe. It takes, 30 seconds to put together some of these things. And the thing that I like most about it is it really does save a lot of money. If you're trying to buy things that are natural, sometimes they're not actually even natural. We have that greenwashing, but it's a lot more expensive with that like natural label on the product. And so making your own really does save you a lot of money.
So what are the basic staples when it comes to hair care? Coconut milk, I'm assuming? Is that one of them?
Yes.
Honey?
Coconut oil. 2, I put in a lot. Castile soap is in my shampoo. Honey, I use that for like hair mask type things, or like a deep conditioner treatment. I think that's pretty much.
Those are the basics.
Yeah.
So,
and with skincare, it's definitely like shea butter or cocoa butter, kind of picking one of those, a coconut oil.
Those are the basics.
I think so. And I even put those ingredients go in the shampoo bar and like conditioner bars. You have a lot of that same stuff in there. Vegetable glycerin is good because it makes things lather and it thickens it up. And so it makes it have that more used to conventional feel that you have, because that's one thing when you switch over, it's definitely different because there's not the chemicals in there that make it foam up or suds like you're used to from the store. But if I ever have someone that's asking for that, I'll say to add in a little bit of vegetable glycerin because that does thicken it and make it lather a little bit better.
And then for body butters, what's the magic ingredient that gives it that fluffy feel that actually makes it absorb, unlike just putting like oil on yourself?
Okay, so my thing to make it like not greasy is arrowroot powder.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that.
Yep. Shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, those 3 are pretty interchangeable. So it kind of depends. Some people hate the smell of either shea or cocoa. I personally love them all. Do too. So I like to do a combination, but if you are someone that doesn't like it, you can kind of pick one or the other. A coconut oil, usually some type of carrier oil that's not solid like coconut oil will be in there. And maybe an essential oil if you want to add a scent to it or have some more different benefits for your skin. And then when you get to the part where you're whipping it up, adding in a little bit of arrowroot powder will make it to where it's not greasy, makes it really light and fluffy.
Just absorbs those oils. Oh, that is good to know. That must be in the body butters that you've given me.
Yep. It is. I put it, once I figured that out, it's like in all my recipes now. It's always optional because the other ones still work really well, but they definitely are more greasy and, again, just not what you're used to whenever you grab like a pumpable bottle of lotion from the store.
Okay, so I like that you really haven't mentioned that many ingredients. Like you don't need to go out and buy mango butter, cocoa butter, shea butter. You can buy one.
You can buy one.
And then maybe like a couple of carrier oils. The Castile soap is really important. What else? Vinegar. Basic stuff. I think people think like, oh, I'm going to start making all my stuff. I'm going to have to basically have like a whole pot to carry down in my basement.
Nope. Most of the stuff you probably already have in your pantry, honestly. And then maybe get a couple of things. And they last for so long. Oh, beeswax.
Oh, beeswax.
That's another big one.
Yeah.
That I put in things like my lotion bars, sunscreen. You need beeswax. It makes it waterproof. Hold things together.
And then like zinc oxide for that. That's like one more ingredient that you kind of need for the sunscreen.
Yes.
I know that coconut oil has a little bit of an SPF, but
the zinc oxide makes it more.
Yeah.
Yep. Very few ingredients that you need. And then once you have them, you can use them for interchangeable recipes. So you can use it to make your shampoo bar, to make your lotion, to make your sunscreen, and everything only needs about a quarter of a cup. So it lasts a really long time. I mean, even with my blog, I'm making things way more often than we even need them because I'm testing recipes all the time to get new recipes out on the blog. And I'm not constantly buying this stuff. It lasts me for a very long time.
Yeah. That's good to know that you actually can be an economical thing up front.
Yeah.
What about something like toothpaste? What's like your top recommendation for that?
So you can do it as simple as just coconut oil and baking soda. On mine, I add in xylitol. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think xylitol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to give it, because baking soda is very bitter.
It'll taste like salty almost.
Yeah. You can add in that. Calcium, what's the carbon?
Calcium carbonate. That's
what it is. That adds in extra benefits for your teeth. So my recipe has that, xylitol, baking soda, and coconut oil. And then you can add in essential oil for flavor if you want, but you don't even have to. But you can make a basic toothpaste with just coconut oil and baking soda if you can stand the bitterness of the taste.
Which most adults probably can. And that's really nice to know because you have both those ingredients already in your kitchen. Stir it up. Keep it in maybe a little jar. Make small batches so you don't have like I don't know. If you don't label things, I'm bad about labeling stuff. And then I forget like what is what.
Yeah.
So unless it's like in the spot and just a small amount, it's probably going to go to waste a little bit. But yeah.
We make it and like all of my kids use it. And people are asking like, how do you get it out? Because you do want to keep it dry if you want to make sure it doesn't get moldy or new bacteria on it. So you can't have like a popsicle stick to get it out. Honestly, we just dip our toothbrushes right in, which is probably not the way you're supposed to do it, but that's just
trouble for that.
Yeah. So we do. It's never been a problem.
So far, but if you made it through.
But if you want to do it the right way, having something to get it out, because it's not a squeezable recipe like regular toothpaste. I'm sure there are recipes like that. This is the one that we've been using for a very long time. And
it's always been fun.
Yep, we've always done it.
And I'm assuming you have also on your blog a laundry detergent recipe.
Yep.
Basic.
That one's also very simple. That one saves you so much money because, I mean, especially for us having larger families, I'm doing a load of laundry every single day. And so having that, I make the 5-gallon bucket I have a liquid and a powdered. And I make both, but the liquid one I make most often just because it's 5 gallons. And so, I mean, it'll last me for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it costs like $2 to make.
Yeah, detergent is very expensive. Yeah.
I haven't bought it in a very long time. I've been making my own for forever. Well, probably 10 years. I think when I first got married, I started making it and it works well. So that's all we use.
So I know something that's really big on your blog is soap making. And I think most people are very intimidated by soap making. It's not something we're very familiar with, using the lye, all of the ratios. You have to worry about the fat and the calculator and all of that. Can you give us a brief primer of like soap making and then maybe refer us to some of your best and most popular soap recipes on the blog?
Yeah, I was definitely one of those people that was scared of soap making. I ordered lye and had it sitting up like on the very top shelf of my...
I can beat you. I've had one for like 5 years.
Oh,
it came over from Boone Street.
I had it for a good year. All right, thanks. I had it for a good year before I started making soap. And then once I did it the first time, I realized that it wasn't as hard or scary as I thought.
Like everything?
Yeah, like everything is how to do it. But the thing with lye, and everyone's always asking like, well, can I make it without lye? All soap has lye in it. So if you're using a melt and pour soap, that one just already did the process of mixing it for you. There is lye in it because that's just
that's what turns oil into soap.
Yes, exactly. So you do have to be safe with it. I have burnt like my arm with nothing serious, but I've had like red spots on my arm before from it. So you do need to be careful with it. Doing it in a well-ventilated area outside is best. I never have a baby strapped to me when I do it. There's no pets around. You know, I wear my long rubber gloves. I have my safety goggles on. But once you jump in, and you definitely need a digital scale, everything has to be measured very precisely, but there are soap calculators. And I have exact recipes on my blog I don't know, a dozen of them or more of soap recipes. And so you can just follow a recipe exactly, but if you want to change anything up, you definitely need to get a soap calculator and plug in what ingredients you're going to be using, because it is important to have your ratios right to make sure that your soap turns into soap. But once you do it a couple times, if you have the right safety equipment, it's actually very easy. And it's fun. It's so fun because you can make so many combinations with the different scents that you adding in. I did one just recently where we used, instead of mixing lye and water, we did lye with coffee. And then we added in coffee grinds to make it like exfoliating. We've done...
How many extra do you have of those?
Yeah. I do have a bunch. They're still actually curing that batches.
I liked your loofah one. She gave me one where she put a loofah into the soap mold. And so there's like exfoliation while you're cleansing.
Yeah, that was my husband's idea. Yeah. Let's do it. That was actually a melt and pour. So I have recipes if you're like a total beginner, and then ones that are definitely more advanced. But there's a lot of different ways to make it. But we've done hot process soap, cold process soap, melt and pour soap. But once you start, just like with everything, doesn't take a lot. And now when I go to make soap, I have all the things that I need. I don't have to buy new things every single time I make soap. It lasts for a really long time. And another one of those things that will save you money.
Once you've got everything, you know what you're doing, it's probably pretty easy to incorporate into your life. It's probably like a little bit of time here, and then it cures for a while, a little bit of time on the back end. But once you know what you're doing, it's pretty straightforward. And then something that you can be in control of all the ingredients for your family. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. What am I missing? We talked about laundry, hair, skin, cleaning. Those are probably the top ones.
Yeah, those are most of the things that we get into on like my blog and things. We also make things for like your garden and like pest control type things.
Right.
And if you have ants in your house, things like that. But those are definitely the things that we use.
And get asked about the most. Like, those are also probably the biggest impact as far as like what would make its way into your skin and like affect your health, because it's so direct in your house.
Yes. Yep.
So for that, ourreallyhouse.com, she has printable recipes, and you could just go for days like scrolling through and finding all of her stuff. It's also on YouTube. You have a beginner's guide to soap on your YouTube, I know.
Yep.
And with that, I'm going to pull up some of our questions. Okay, so I already peeked through these a little bit, and there was a couple good ones.
Boy, you got a lot.
I know. Let's see here. First off, are we twins? No. Oh, somebody else who's older. I'm 2 years older, that's almost me. To the day. Okay, this one I liked. So have you guys ever been pregnant at the same time? I feel like you take turns.
For a while, we're on the same schedule.
Yeah.
We were pregnant at the same time.
Off the schedule, but let's see here.
Now it's
Caroline.
My first one and her third were just 6 weeks apart. My third and your fourth,
You're gonna have to think about this for me.
Were a few months apart. And then our fourth and fifth.
They're best friends.
They're best friends. They're both 4 years old right now, and they've been best friends since one. Cute. I mean, like, it's
We've
hilarious.
Never seen anything like it, because all of our kids, like, they play together. But nobody ever latched on like that, and it happened so young. Like, my son couldn't even talk yet. Hers was a really early talker, and he couldn't talk at all till he was 3. And
best friends.
Her son could talk since he was 18 months, and now they both obviously talk just fine. Yeah. But they were best friends even through all of that. It's so funny.
Yeah. They're 4 now, and they are like literally in stuff. Anytime that we're together, we're like, where are our 4-year-olds?
Yep, where are the 4-year-olds?
We were saying, where are the 3-year-olds? Because if one's there, that's where the other one is.
Yep.
So they were the same time. And then the last few, we've been on this every other year thing.
Yeah. So since you've been watching us, that's been the case. But actually, before that, we had 3 different times where we have kids like almost the exact same age. Yep. So that's been very fun.
But all of them out of the 12, is there 12?
Almost 13.
Almost 13. The oldest one's 13. So, they're all very close in age, which is fun. And we both had our girls first, which is really nice, because then our girls are good friends, and then we had all the boys kind of together.
Right, I'm gonna take a break from chatting with Laura about natural swaps in your home to talk about a very appropriate company when it comes to that, Toothpaste & Co. I've talked about them a lot on here before. I love their skincare products. So their tallow balm that's so moisturizing and made from natural animal-based grass-fed ingredients so that it actually absorbs into my skin, gives it that moisture level. I like cleansing with the sea buckthorn oil and the charcoal bar. Today I actually have some new products that I'm trying out. So I got an email from Toops & Co. about natural ways, so organic, natural, not just greenwashed, but actually organic, natural ways to contour, which I'm really interested in learning how to do. Need lots of practice on actually figuring it out, but I wanna share with you what I got and I'm already loving them. So I got a primer, I got the Toops & Co. foundation, I also picked up the highlighter and the bronzer and the illuminator. So I'm gonna start practicing with this and figure out how to put my face on in a more natural way, which I've been doing for so long. I just feel like sometimes though I do it, I don't always look the best. So I'm gonna figure out how to actually employ some of those conventional makeup practices like contouring, but with all natural ingredients. Toops & Co. is a husband and wife team. It's made right here in the US. So if you love supporting small business, US-based business, and you care about toxins and natural and organic ingredients, Toops & Co. is definitely one to go check out. So you can go to toopsandco.com and use the code FARMHOUSE to get 10% off your order. Again, that's Toops, T-O-U-P-S, and co.com. Use the code FARMHOUSE to check out some of their beautiful makeup, skincare, moisturizing, full line of organic skincare products. Okay, that actually kind of goes with this question. Do you think there's a curse on your family only allowing you to have boys? Laughy face, JK, JK.
Yep, we think so.
So, okay.
Not a curse. We love all of our boys.
No, not a curse.
We do think we have our own reasons.
We have theories.
We have theories of why this is happening.
All right, I think I'm going to explain.
Okay, we think it's a good theory.
Yeah, we think it's pretty sound and based in science. So basically, there's some science behind acidity and alkalinity in the body. And we ended up discovering, I realized this is correlation, not causation. So again, hold this loosely, hold it how you will. We believe that when you're more acidic, you're more likely to have girls, and more alkaline, you're more likely to have boys. And we discovered the wonders of fermented foods around the time that the boy boom began. Now, this is not like a hard, like obviously you can be really into fermented foods and have all girls. I'm not saying that. However, I do think if you drink a quart of kefir every morning, your body is probably going to be more alkaline. We didn't know that's what we were doing, but looking back,
we discovered
that maybe starting the day off with something really sour, so like lemon juice makes your body more alkaline, kefir, it's just, I don't know why acidic things make your body alkaline, but that's how it works. And that's when the boy boom started. And so
when we got into kefir, making our yogurt, sauerkraut, sourdough.
It's, I mean, we
know.
do have 3 girls in a row, and then if Laura has a boy here, 10 boys in a row, which is
very likely.
So I also ran my own non-scientific study on red raspberry leaf about a year and a half ago, around a year ago before I had Theo. And no, it was when I was still pregnant with him. Anyways, with our group of kids, we do have a pretty large sample size, so it gets us like our wheels turning quite a bit to where we start to think we know what we're talking about. And so we also believe that if you drink red raspberry leaf tea your entire pregnancy, not in the 3rd trimester, so don't tell me you had your baby on time, if you started in the 3rd or the 2nd, if you start drinking red raspberry leaf tea from the beginning of your pregnancy and you drink a half a gallon a day, I'm talking like a lot, quart a day or half gallon?
Probably a quart.
Okay,
but
quart
still
a day of strong red raspberry leaf tea, the baby will be late. We have like 12 kids that prove this to be true.
Yeah.
And then I actually put a poll out on Instagram, and so many women chimed in with the exact same story. And then I actually started seeking out studies, and there were studies on it too. So that actually is true.
Yeah, that happened.
So as far as...
You should put a thing out about
the boy
if there's families that have mostly girls or boys.
Or if there was a shift. I think what interests me more than anything else is the shift.
Yeah,
because I do think some bodies are more prone. Like,
yes,
our mom had 4 girls. My grandma had 9 girls of 14. So very heavily skewed. Her mother-in-law had 8 girls, 2 boys.
Yeah.
So I do think there is definitely like something going on there. But I'm interested in the shift that happened with us.
Yeah,
3 girls
and it was
in a row.
right around that time. And so to us, it's like,
And you know what? So we could come back here in 5 years and tell you how wrong we were.
Yeah.
Just like we thought that girls made you more sick during pregnancy and than boys. And then that has been flipped, like that, not flipped. It's just been completely and thoroughly disproven by having enough kids that we now see that that wasn't actually true. Because we've had, you know, sick pregnancies with girls and with boys. And then, but at first it looked really right. After about 6 kids, it looked really right.
And then after 6
with a little bit more evidence, it didn't. So
that was debunked.
We shall see.
When this one comes.
Yeah, we'll see when this one comes.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. So there's that very long explanation. Okay, so did you both always want big families?
I did.
Laura did. I didn't.
Yeah. I wanted 10 kids when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, she's been very consistent with this dream. Mine only started like happening like with each child. It's kind of a new discussion. People think it's something I like set out to do, and it's more just been a discussion with each child. And obviously faith has played a big role in it as well. And so, you know, as an unbeliever before, that didn't play into it then. And so, but Laura's always.
Yep. Always loved all the babies.
Okay, so how do you make time for yourself with all the kids? I have 2 under 2 and I'm already tired.
It gets easier the more kids you have, I think.
Laura's really good about schedules in her family, so she could give you tips on that.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's times of the day. I mean, in the evening when our kids are like, everyone's in bed by 8. So I know I always have that time of the, I mean, I say every day, if we have something going on, like tomorrow, we've got something going on until 10 o'clock at night.
So that won't happen.
It won't happen. Yeah. But for the most part, like when we're home, there's always that time in the evening when the kids are sleeping and I have time. And also I think that, you know, people only get a glimpse of my life on YouTube and think, you know, like I'm always getting that comment, like you're only seeing parts of it. There's definitely times when I have downtime and I lay low. I'm not showing because that would be boring to see me sitting on the couch doing nothing, but that does happen.
But normally the kids are around in those times, but you're able to, I think over time, you're able to figure out too how to relax with kids. Because I remember when I first had kids, and I would hear like an old, like a mom who had maybe more kids or like some young kids and some old, and she'd be like, we're just going to lay low and relax today. I'm like, but you have kids.
Yeah.
How are you going to relax and have kids? And I have figured out over time that actually like you can do that. You can relax with the kids around. That can all be restful. Also, Abby from M is for Mama, she was sharing in one of her recent What Do You Want to Know Wednesday. She does like a question box. She answers questions. And she was basically encouraging this young mother to hold those loosely, and you don't actually need alone time. Getting it is a blessing. And so whenever you have it, being thankful for it and really appreciating it, but then also not setting with this expectation of like, I have to, because then you'll find yourself disappointed. And I actually really like that because I definitely struggle with that. There are times when I think like, I should get this. And then whenever I don't, I'm really upset and I'm mad because I deserve it.
Feel entitled to
but in reality, I should just be grateful when it happens and then not be so worried about getting it too.
Right. And having 2 under 2, that's different. I mean, they're more needy than there comes times whenever, I mean, my oldest one's only 9, but still like they can go off and they can play while I'm sitting down and having alone time, even though they're around.
Yeah.
But they don't need me every single second of every day anymore, like they did whenever they were 2 and under.
Mm-hmm. So that's
a harder phase.
It is, and you're new to mothering. When you have 2 under 2, you're still in that, like, this is a whole new thing. Like, your world's been completely changed, and you haven't figured out just exactly how you exist in this new world that you're in. And so I do think that there's just some, like, it's hard times with that. And so I guess what I'm saying is don't, like, if you set out to each day, like, I need this amount of alone time, and then you don't get it, there's going to be the disappointment, trying to, like, reframe that a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw this one and I really don't know how we'll answer it. What are some lifestyle practices that you disagree on? I honestly don't think there are any.
I mean,
we do things differently. That we do a lot of things differently, but I wouldn't say that we disagree. A lot of the things we do differently, I think your way is probably better. It's just personality. So like I tend to be late to things. Laura, not super late, but Laura always manages to get there with your kids, shoes on, everything you need for that event.
We run a tighter ship.
Laura runs a very tighter ship.
But it's partially our husbands too.
Yeah. Luke and I we went on vacation with them twice, and both times we're like, whew. we just sit there and drink coffee in the morning, and Laura, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And their kids are all that way.
Yes. The personality of our kids it's hilarious. We talk about it constantly.
It's our favorite thing to do.
Night and day difference, which is funny because we are very similar in a lot of ways, but the personality we have so opposite.
Very different personalities, but personalities that mesh and get along really well.
Yes.
But we see it in our kids because also obviously we married husbands that go with us.
Yes.
And so then there's even that much difference.
It's just major divide, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, they're different every way. Like her kids, they show up where they got their socks, their shoes, their watches, their hats, their belts. They look perfect. They're ready to go. And you would think like, oh wow, what a great mother. But the kids do that.
Yeah, like I don't say I'll get your watch on.
I'm not saying she shouldn't deserve some credit, but
no, it's just their personalities.
Also,
they don't lose things.
At all. They have the same toy for 5 years. Mine lost it within 5 minutes. Literally, it didn't even make it home from the Christmas party. So, yeah.
And it's just a personality thing because I feel like we raise our kids very similar.
Yeah.
But they do have just such distinct personality traits that are so opposite. It's funny.
I find it very encouraging to observe because it makes me realize that they're their own humans. There's only so much you can control. You do what you can, but like if certain parts of their personality present in this way, it's just literally who they are. And so not going to get like beating ourselves up for like, why can't my kid do this? When really I'm so closely intertwined with Laura's life that I know what they do and I know what we do. And I see the way that they turn out very differently. And so it just kind of makes me know that there's definitely an element of personality that you have to completely take into account and allow for your kids to be.
And with the personality too, like there's pros and cons to both. It's not like, this way's all good and this way's all bad. There's things that my kids do that like would be way easier if they did it.
Yeah.
Like your kids,
like because
or
they're so particular.
Versa.
If they get dirty or wet, they're better now as they're older, but the younger ones, if they get dirt, Laura would be like, stay out of the creek. And I'm like, why do you care?
Because if they get wet, they're going to cry the rest of the day.
And I'm like, just roll around to the creek. It's 50 degrees outside, but I know that you're not going to complain to me about it.
Mine will complain. And so then if I don't have extra clothes, like you might as well not get wet because if you have a wet toe, you're going to cry all day at my feet and be like, ugh.
Yeah. Mine aren't going to do that. They're
not particular.
Dirty for weeks and it's fine.
And if someone goes in their room and touches or moves anything, they're going to know about it and they're going to complain. Your kids don't really care.
No, they don't. I have like one that's sort of particular, but not in the same way. All right, I want to pause to tell you about another sponsor today, and that is Redmond Real Salt. So if you're cooking from scratch, like I am, making homemade bone broths, fermenting your own vegetables, you will find that you need a lot of salt. I know that every time I turn around, I'm refilling my little salt canister that sits above my stove. I'm sprinkling it all over our meat, into our homemade bone broth. Everything just tastes better with a good quality salt. And when you're using that much of anything, you need to make sure that it is quality, that you aren't introducing something into your food after all of this hard work that is going to have negative impacts on your health. That's why I trust Redmond Real Salt. I actually purchased a huge bucket from them so that I don't run out. I find that that is one thing I can't do without. I can have staples on hand like eggs, like whole grains so that I can mill them and make flours and breads and milk from our cow. But if we don't have salt, I really can't pull a meal together. So head on over to bit.ly/Redmond Farmhouse. And that is where you can get a discount on Redmond Real Salt. They've offered this for Simple Farmhouse Life podcast listeners. So make sure to stock up on a good quality salt for your kitchen while you're over there. Check out their seasoning salts. You can find so many things to dress up those summer barbecue meals, any meal that you are cooking from scratch. Again, That's bit.ly/Redmond Farmhouse to get a discount on clean, quality salt to add to all of your homemade dishes. Yeah. Okay, so somebody asks, how do you two differ as mothers? I think we pretty much covered that there. I mean,
yeah,
for the most part. I had a couple people asking, like, how are you close? What do you encourage for people who have, like, young kids who they want to be friends when they're adults? And then also somebody said, what from your childhood makes your families close? Like Sunday dinners, because we go over to my parents every day every Sunday for Sunday dinners.
I mean, one thing that definitely helps that we have an advantage of that I know is not normal is that all of our family is local.
That's I mean, yeah.
So many people. I mean, even like a lot of our extended family and like in-laws for like all of us, everyone's just very, I mean, for the most part, you have a couple in-laws that aren't, totally, but still within the state are local. So we don't have to,
proximity.
Yeah.
That's how you're able to do Sunday dinners. I will say as an encouragement that we fought when we were little kids, just like all little kids do.
Yeah.
So that helps me. When my kids, if they fight or bicker about something, I'm not like, oh, great, they're going to hate each other for the rest of their lives. Because I remember doing that. And we still get along.
Yeah, totally.
And then again, I guess there is a personality factor to enjoying, you have to agree on certain things to enjoy hanging out with somebody. So there is that. And I don't know, like, how do you foster that?
All the big things, we totally agree on. So that makes it easy. And just being in the same stage of life.
Yeah.
Being just 2 years apart and both married with a bunch of kids. Like, just we're going through the same thing day in, day out.
And then also, I mean, personalities in our family, there's not a whole lot of drama. Or there's not really any drama.
Nothing.
So there is like a family culture of like, we're all fairly laid back. You're not really going to have like these, fights where nobody's talking for a few weeks. So that's
literally never happened.
Yeah. So I don't know how exactly you foster that, but that does seem to be the culture.
Probably just a lot of personality things that you can't even necessarily.
Why are you a hard worker, Laura? Personality. Yeah. Who started the natural lifestyle first? I'm older. I would say that because of that, it would be me, but it was pretty much like, around the same time. I also got married 4 years before.
Had a baby first.
Yeah. I got married and had a baby 4 years before. And so that did send me down that pathway a little bit.
Because that was kind of whenever we both started, was whenever we had babies and you start thinking about all the things that come along with being a mom and putting the regular lotion on your baby. Like, oh my gosh, what are those ingredients in there and different things. So you start really, what kind of food are you going to feed your baby first?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Okay, so what's the biggest challenge with running your own online business? Laura's got it all nailed down over there.
Well, I guess partially just any business that you have that's from your home, being able to turn it off.
Yeah. That
was harder. I'm definitely better at it now that I'm lazier. I don't know what it is. But like if you're home and it's a random night when maybe my husband's doing something, all the kids are in bed, being able to like lay down and watch a show or read a book or like just not have to be like, oh my gosh, I should be answering comments right now or editing a video or, like in the beginning, if there was any downtime at all and everyone was quiet and I had a second to myself, it was going to be like throwing it into the business and not being able to turn that off was something that I struggled with for sure. Not as much anymore, but in the beginning that was hard because it's all so intertwined. Like you're making a dinner, like, oh gosh, I should be recording this because it could be a video.
Yeah, that's true. That is, yes, the work-life balance, trying to figure out when to like just separate it all is probably
so when you work outside of the home, you leave it and it's gone. But I don't know, I guess just over time of doing it for several years, that's not as much of an issue anymore.
Do y'all have a favorite shared comical childhood adolescent memory or story? Gosh, I wish I could think of something right offhand.
Oh yeah, I know there's
probably lots.
I mean, at this point, all of the stories that are funny, I'm just thinking of all the funny things our kids say. It's like constantly like, oh my gosh, the other day, Micah said this or William said that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something.
I saw it a couple times. People want to know, like, what did you learn as a kid? What did mom and dad teach you that helped you maybe, like, go, like, into the natural lifestyle or maybe trying things, online business?
Well, our family is definitely very business-minded.
Entrepreneurial.
Yes.
And
every single one in our immediate family.
mm-hmm.
No one has just, like, a regular job.
Yeah. And then also people asked if we grew up on a farm. We did, which I've shared this a lot. So some of you were like, I know, it was an elk farm.
Yeah.
But we grew up on an elk farm, which was very interesting. So we grew up,
very much so in the farm life. And my dad was always farming too. So we've been around all of that.
Yes. We put the hay bales in the barn and climbed fences.
Lots of animals, always.
Yeah.
Cattle, elk, which is obviously kind of weird.
I don't know if we've really talked about the racetrack. Do you want to talk about that while I find the next question?
We grew up on a racetrack, so our grandpa started like a drag race, like car racetrack. It was a 3-mile track. By the time that Lisa and I were around, it was just a 1/4 mile, like drag strip. But that's where our house was. So that was every weekend. But then all during the week, we were able to explore on all of that. And it was super fun with like go-karts and things and being able to run around it. And every single weekend having this like huge event in our area of racers coming. Yeah. And it was on the farm. Like on this side, there was the elk fence, and on this side, there was the cattle fencing.
And then the racetrack.
Like in the middle of this. And so it was right there.
We didn't realize how weird it was that we could, when we were kids on a Sunday, you could ride the golf cart up and get a burger at the concession stand.
Yeah. Snow cones. And like, people came from all over. I mean, it was a huge thing. Anyone in our area definitely knows of this racetrack. And so.
Yeah, it was super fun. I didn't realize just how like lucky we were to
my dad had
how we did
acres attached to also his dad. So we grew up on this 400-acre farm with a big creek spring through it. Horses.
Yeah.
But yet only about 10 minutes from the town.
Yeah, a good town. So it was
a very,
you really don't find stuff like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome to find that again.
Yeah.
You felt like you were in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And then you were like 10 minutes from your Walmart and Target and everything. And well, not when we were kids. Not everything was there. Well, not Target.
Not
Walmart.
Target, but like Walmart.
Restaurants.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
So they sold it when I was 18. Laura was still home. So I only lived this place when I was a kid. And then they bought a different farm. So it would be really fun to like show the kids, but it turned into subdivisions.
Yep. Every time I pass it, I always tell my kid, like, that's where the elk were.
Like, see that house right there? That's where we were in, like, the back of my dad's truck looking for,
the baby elk and things. And, yeah.
So it's sad, but they do have a lovely farm now that we like to go visit every Sunday.
Yep.
So, okay. Your favorite thing to do together? Strap all our kids in the car and then just sit up front and talk and just drive.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime that we can, we drive together. Lisa has a big van now because she had to with all of our kids. We can't all fit in it actually with all of our kids, but there's a time where we're going where we're just both bringing like 4-ish children or 5 or something. We can fit in there, and that's the best. Or we do girls' nights, and that's fun because we only have 3 girls between us, and then my sisters and my mom, and all of us will go. Every year we do a girls' trip, which is... It's a weekend, but usually it's during the week. But like, a couple nights, that's always fun.
Yeah, that's always fun. Just anything.
Yeah. We go to my parents' house every Sunday.
Yeah.
Going just randomly like, oh, let's run up and go out to eat and go shopping somewhere. Always a couple kids in tow.
Yeah. Very rarely do we get out without any children at all.
Yeah, that's like once a year probably for that shopping day. Yeah. We were just talking about like literally that's probably it.
Yep.
But we'll get way less kids than normal.
Yeah. So I was thinking of something else, but oh well, I'm sure it's not that important. I'll have to have you on again so I can complete the thought. Actually, before I wrap it up, can you tell us about your free masterclass? You have an essential oils you explain.
Yeah. So if you are like interested in learning more about how to make these like natural swaps for like cleaners and hair care and skin care, and just if you want to incorporate essential oils into your home and know how to like dilute them properly, I do have a free masterclass where I pretty much teach you all of these things, and I guess you'll link it below. I don't know. I'm not on YouTube.
Don't you have a Bitly?
Yeah. Gosh, I never use that. Can you believe that?
Oh man, with a podcast, I have to, if I don't verbally say it,
it's bit.ly/Arley House Masterclass. Okay, that's what it is.
Okay.
But I don't use it very much because I don't do podcasts.
So with podcasts, there are always show notes, but a lot of people really struggle to figure out where they are. And so I always want a verbal link.
Are you pulling it up to make sure I'm right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think I made it the last time
we did a podcast?
I was on your podcast, and I just don't use it very much. Do you use yours for other things?
I do, because
Arley House Masterclass.
I use it all the time.
I'm almost positive that's what it is. Yeah,
yep,
that's right.
Go.
Okay.
So there are show notes. I also do have a website, which I don't tell you guys about much, but it's simplefarmhouselifepodcast.com, and there's like a transcript and there's links, and so everything you'd want to know about an episode is there.
Okay.
But a lot of times people aren't going to go to that. They're not going to.
So that's why you get the bit.ly.
Get them that bit.ly, and they'll find your Arley House Masterclass.
Yep.
So. All right, well, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast.